Hi there. Welcome to the inevitable. Ed, you're slipping.
Oh, sorry.
This is MotorTrend's podcast, our vodcast about the future of the car, the future of mobility, where are we going, how are we going to get there, and once again, who designs these things?
Welcome to The Inevitable, a podcast by MotorTrend.
This is a guy that I've wanted to have on for a long time. I don't know why I didn't just text him earlier and get him on, but he just retired after a 38-year career, which is sort of unheard of in this industry. Will probably never happen again, but his name is Dave Marek, and he worked for Honda. But before we get to him, this guy, Ed Lowe, has a special message just for you.
Yes, the Inevitable Vodcast is brought to you by nobody currently. So if you want to sponsor us for one episode or 10, give me a shout, edward.lowe@hearst.com, Hearst.
20, 30,
You can also DM Johnny or I on Instagram. We'll connect you. We actually have gotten a couple of requests, which is great. We're working through those. So jump in line. We'd love to have you as a sponsor. But let's talk about Dave Marek, the man, the myth, the legend.
It's weird he retired because I've been doing this now 21 years. You've been a little longer. He's always been Honda. He's Honda design,
He's
right?
been Honda since 1987. We talked a little bit about that.
87, I was in maybe 6th grade.
Yes. He was at the peak, started during the sort of peak of the Japanese automotive industry in America in terms of the rise. You got to remember, he exited as a global creative director. He'd worked on a lot of the Acura stuff. I mean, he basically he has been associated with Honda and Acura like a year after Acura was established.
And again, incredible. Just a little bit of context before we get into it. Like, if you weren't alive then, or if you weren't paying attention to cars then, like, man, that was a transitional period in the automotive industry. Like, Acura first, and then really Lexus, but Infiniti also. Like, where did these guys come from? Like, suddenly the Japanese, which was, small, the way we used to think of Korean cars about 10 years ago, small, cheap econo boxes, suddenly they were making credible luxury, credible sports cars that were throwing not only Detroit, but like Germany and England on their ears. Like, the NSX was as good as a Ferrari, and it started every time. No Ferrari ever started. Right. The Legend was a better sports sedan than what BMW was making. It was, and they started every time, and they cost half the price. Like, it was, people were really worried that Japan was about to take over the world. It was a thing. It was. And
we talk a lot about it with Dave. But first, we get into his transition, or his graduation, if you will. So let's get Dave on here and see what he's doing. Dave Marek.
That's Dave
Hi,
Marek.
Ed.
Retired.
Retired.
Recently retired as of
January 1st.
No kidding. So we're recording this. You are 21 days into your.
Is this the first time you've worn pants in 21 days?
What else would he wear?
If I was retired,
sorry.
I would have you.
I will admit that early in the morning when I'm when I'm doing Dave Marek design stuff, I literally don't mind walking around in sweatpants or lack of.
Yeah.
I will admit it, but by 10, I start to feel self-conscious or something.
Okay.
Let's say cheers to his retirement, and also I will cheers you for turning 50, but
don't talk about
you're
that.
doing dry January. Have you ever done a dry Jan? Anything?
I told you I did dry martinis and Asahi super dry.
All right.
They're drinking coffee. It's great.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Well, what's it like being retired? Is it weird? Was it weird? Were you ready?
I was ready, I think. Yeah. I thought it would be... I wasn't sure. A lot of people told me, oh man, be careful. It's going to be really different. Your whole identity is Honda. And I kept thinking, I don't think it is. I think I'm kind of, that's part of it. But I thought as time went on, I was really, my personality is more, let's let these guys do it and I'll enable them to do it. And I think that the ultimate retirement was to let Suchida-san and those guys just continue on and let, go with it and do it. And I'll support it any way I can. So it's actually, I don't miss the drive. Right. That's for sure.
Yeah.
And I find that I have more time to devote to not just hobbies and stuff like that, but the craft we've been doing, car design, and how to employ AI, how to employ software and different processes into it, and not necessarily designing a car, because I told Honda I wouldn't design cars, but but I will do the graphics on race cars and things like that, and kind of just help people when they need help, I guess.
How long had you been there?
38 and a half years. 39. Yeah.
And so you're one of the rare lifers. Like you left school.
Yeah, only place I worked.
And did you intern at Honda?
No, straight through ArtCenter.
Straight through, got hired.
2 years, 8 months. For some reason, I was driven to do it, and I thought I don't want to go to Detroit in the middle of school for an internship,
right?
And interrupt what I'm on a roll. I give too much information always. I think one of the things that happened when I was at ArtCenter, they decided to go from the Christmas break. So it's trimesters, so in between is 3 weeks, forever. And they decided when I was second term to do a 4-week Christmas break. So to do that, everybody that I was in school with, we had to do 2-week breaks to make up for to catch up to it. So not only did I go straight through, I did 2-week breaks. Yeah, it was crazy.
Wow. And so 87, you graduated with a degree in industrial design from ArtCenter. You've broken the streak. We had a bunch of CCS guys on here.
No kidding.
So you are
back to ArtCenter.
There is still some ArtCenter guys.
We were the official, unofficial podcast of ArtCenter for a long time.
Yeah.
Then we got a bunch of CCS folks in here.
Yeah.
And during your time there, 2 years and 8 months, you got a small overlap with Ikeda, with John Ikeda?
Just it was almost the last semester, maybe 2 semesters. John, I more overlap with John because I immediately started teaching.
Oh. And
I would be up at school all the time and got to know those guys.
Okay.
I mean, my history with John was that Mr. Auto was head of Wave Studio, which was our first advanced design studio. Mm-hmm. And he didn't know any U.S. designers or students. So he asked me to go do it. I mean, I'd been at Honda for like a year and a half. They're already having me going to Japan and hey, can you go interview these guys? So I picked John as one of the 4 to go to Japan.
So John, we had, for those who don't know, John Ikeda, we had him on. He was episode 46. At the time, he was essentially the head of Acura. He's now the head of HRC, which is Honda.
He's the SVP. So Dave Salters is president.
Okay.
But that's the racing side, and John is head of the marketing side.
Marketing side, right.
The new business kind of thing. Yeah, it's going to be great.
Which is cool.
Yeah.
Like it's got... Now, actually, I don't know if you know this, but the breaking news recently is that Honda has a new logo.
Yes.
Was that primarily for the Formula One piece, or no? Nothing to do with...
No, it was more to update style. So the studio in Japan, we've been working on new logos for... 39 years.
Yeah.
So I think, it was in the making for a long time. And finally, it's kind of, let's just put it on the cars and call it a day,
Because it replaces what, the big Honda, all the block...
the block font,
okay.
and
the H badge.
The H badge.
And it's kind of a cool inverted, wider at the top, narrow at the bottom.
Yeah.
H.
It's the original H.
It's the original H, right.
It is the original H.
It's a modernization of the original H.
Flared a little
but
more.
The original H was always like that. It was
kind of cool. It kind of feels like, because they've also just they put all the racing under HRC.
Yeah.
Which is also a neat unifying thing,
right.
Because they had HPD here for a while. Which
the smart company would do that. Get them all under the same hat.
Right. But I'm a little bummed out because to me HRC means like motorcycles.
Yeah, and
right? which is
that was some of it.
Super bummed. Right?
That was some of it. That it's kind of like that's ours, but it makes total sense to me to be global. Yep. I guess. Yeah.
Yep. So, I did a little background on you, but what were you doing before? What were the big things you were doing before you retired? Because that seems to be a little bit missing at Honda Acura.
So I was still going to Japan, still doing the RSX. We were doing the show car and then doing that car, and so it's kind of, if you know how a car gets built, it's not overnight. So I was still following up on that and finishing that, and we were doing like the next cars that are coming out, and so it was like just nonstop doing that. And then, the retirement became that Minami-san, who is the Honda executive creative director, he was going to be Acura, and then Tsuchida-san is the creative director. So it worked out that it's all under that roof, more or less. It's not separated anymore.
Who's replacing you?
Tsuchida-san.
Tsuchida-san's replacing you. Okay.
Yeah, and he's great. He's really cool.
I'm familiar with him, but
yeah, he's according to most people, he's quieter than me.
No way.
But I can't imagine that. But
I know you can't talk about future products probably because you signed a stack of NDAs on your way out, but how far, like when will the last thing you touch see the light of day? Do you think?
I would say 30.
Wow.
Maybe.
That's how advanced
29,
design.
maybe, yeah. Mm-hmm. I mean, there's stuff that we did that, you'll never see, but it would have been 35, things like that.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
So,
very cool.
and then, there's a lot of, I think, my role was so weird because I guess I was nosy. So I would get into everything.
Right.
So I would get into like one of the reasons I retired on January 1st instead of the 31st. I was going to do the 31st. And one reason, I probably shouldn't tell everybody this, but is that the Rich Richardson, who is head of all Honda like human resources, he said, yeah, if you retire the 1st, you get your health care till January 31st. I was like, well, that makes sense to me. But the real reason was that I was helping with the Rose Parade float. And I thought, I'm done on the 31st.
Right.
So I could go to the parade as a retiree, but then I waited the extra day. But so I was doing that. I was doing a lot of you probably recently saw the base station.
Yes.
All that. That, doing a lot of
very
that.
Cool.
I miss it. What's that?
Trips to Indiana, which is fantastic.
Base station's RV.
It's the
I did
trailer.
See that. Sorry. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Cool.
And Moto Compacto, all that stuff, all the extraneous stuff. And
well, that's what I always thought was interesting about you was that you were always like standing there like, this is the livery I did for the Le Mans car.
Yeah. I mean,
whereas most head of design, they had somebody that did the livery, but you were always like hands-on, that kind of stuff. And I'd see you at every race.
All the HRC stuff is like Bill Yax and I at R&D, we were doing all that stuff. And I guess it's part of it is you did the car, so you should do you know best what the livery should look like, I guess.
Well, let me drop a little bomb on you. Did you have anything to do with the Prelude?
No.
No?
No.
Okay.
Did not. And I don't know if it's going to be an Acura if you're going to ask me that.
No, I don't. But well, you're a lifer at Honda.
I saw it a lot.
Acura. You saw it a lot.
Yeah.
Well, can I ask you something? And I'm going to queue up.
Let me read.
I'm going to queue up the pictures. How did we get here? Okay, here is the Prelude. For those of you listening,
they copied us.
The Prelude's on the left. Here's a Ferrari Puro Sanguine. Go back one, Brent. So sorry. Here's in the blue car, Honda Prelude. The red car, Toyota Prius. Okay. Now for timeline, the red car did come out
2 years
ago. Okay.
Yeah.
Next slide. Ferrari Puro Sanguine. This is the SUV. Also came out 2 years ago. By the time it came out, everybody was ripping on
Mazda
Ferrari.
3.
No, because the Toyota Crown came out and has the same sort of size and shape. And
Tesla.
a little bit of,
There's a lot of people in it.
Well, the circles I'm in was just everyone would post a picture of a Mazda 3 hard side, and then the hard side of this.
next one. You do this. Here's Camry.
Yeah.
Right. Can I? So.
Well, do you have the Accord, like the previous Accord? Because it was where it started with us.
Oh, you think? Oh, really?
What year Accord?
I mean, it's just that. So that kind of beveled front and the square in front and the thin, that was, we've always been trying to do that. I think it's a valid point, but you get the same designers from schools and they all do this.
So first of all, it is a valid, I'm not seeing things like these. And for the listeners, we put all of the noses on the screen at the same time. And they all, I think, who calls it the hammerhead? Is that, I think, Toyota might call
not Ferrari.
The hammerhead.
Not us. I know we call the ARX, the race car, the hammerhead.
Okay.
But I think that it's probably a lining of planets or something where nobody knew that somebody else was doing it, but it ends up that
Ferrari. I can speak a little bit.
Ferrari's softer for sure.
I was just hanging out with them. But they're now on the new Amalfi. They call that black line. They call it the groove.
Yeah.
And their thing was and again, it's designer.
Let me
talk.
have some more whiskey.
Please.
Thanks, Ed.
Yes, no problem.
And so their thing was like, you start with a pure form of a car, and then every time you got to put a door handle or a headlight or an intake, that hurts. That's painful. Yeah. So you want to minimize that. So every one of their sensors and everything mandated by the government.
It's weird though.
Stick in this groove.
Don't you think it's weird? Because I think that if you don't have cool cut lines or entertainment around the car, if you, other than a 49 Ford that's shaved, which has flames all over it, but they get a little sterile, I think, when you don't do it.
They can't. I think so. Oh good God, Flavio, I'm blanking on his last name, head of design of Ferrari. But, with an M. Sorry, but I was having dinner with him, and he was saying that the fact that cars are anthropomorphic, that you see a face.
Yeah,
Ferrari wants to get away from that.
I think everybody does.
But why?
I agree. Everybody's trying to do no headlights, or through the body.
What are we looking at?
That's the Crown. That's the same face on the SUV.
That's almost
that's the same.
That
thing.
looks like that looks like the Camry.
It's Camry, right? Which it is.
Oh, okay.
So it is a fair observation.
It's.
And you think this all came from the same designers going to school together?
Somewhat, or just a moment in time that people are thinner headlights.
The Italians definitely weren't.
Well, I mean, I think that
at the same schools.
Honestly, it happens all the time.
Yes.
And we're like in the studio and walk by, and I would say, that I liked that when I first saw that on a Dodge Demon or whatever it is. It happens a lot. It could be if you have interns that influence when they go back and.
But but let's say, because I'm trying to figure out which Accord you're referencing that maybe had this first, but the moment, because let's say I can't figure out. Oh, the Prius. I think the Prius is one of the earliest ones. The minute you guys saw, because that's a high volume selling car globally, right?
Right.
The minute you saw that, were you internally at Honda, were you like, oh, crap.
Well, I think that the slit is on, that, if you look at, some of the recent cars coming out SUV, you either have a big giant grille or you do that. So Prologue has a strip,
right.
It's like
right.
But but internally, do you guys is there any head smacking like too late? Can we do anything or no? You just let
this
it ride?
one I don't know, but if it's us, I'll say that looks too much like
so and so.
Yeah.
But also, isn't a lot of it aero is very, very important currently. Headlights have gotten very, very small suddenly.
Yeah.
And then, grills were Audi sized forever.
Take the bumper out.
Yeah, and then isn't it just like a swing back? Like remember, when when the Q45 was happening, grills,
right? Right.
We can make grills so small.
I think a lot of it also is, with electrification and everybody jumped on that bandwagon. How do you make your ICE cars look current with those?
Right.
And you have to kind of bottom breather, or how do you do that? So I think that's what happens too. How do you make a ICE car look modern more than anything?
Right. But you know what I mean though. I was noticing it.
I'm not going to answer your question, Ed. Sorry.
No, you did. You did. I'm looking at the 10th generation Civic
Accord
now, and it's I'm sorry, Accord, and it's
the Civic had.
It's not quite as Civic's totally different.
The 16 Civic had it's pretty thin through there and across.
But you know what I mean? How the Toyota Avalon grill was past the tires. Like it was the widest. It was ridiculous. Like Audi
it's crazy.
started that trend, and
the baleen whale thing.
And then like all fashion trends, it gets to an absurd point.
It does.
And then finally people say, and then
I'm notorious at work for just like, I would say, it looks like, Jonathan Winters, or I mean, I would just say like somebody, a personality, or that, and people would look, and I'd bring up a picture, and they'd go, "Oh, dude, like what?" I kind of
I play that game all the time. Oh, you look like somebody. Then I show them a picture.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of it.
Now, for the record, I think they're all actually quite handsome faces. And I don't mind the execution. Just the fact that they all did it at the same time, to me, is hilarious. And that one's a Ferrari. So
yeah, I mean,
one's a $600,000 Ferrari, not just a Ferrari.
Yeah, the Ferrari's the softest one. It's kind of weird.
Yeah. Okay, we can take it down. Let's.
We do more though. Pull Dave's greatest hits.
No, let's start. I was going to go to some of your earliest, your earliest hits. The one in your bio, in your online bio, you were credited with is the 1997 Acura CL.
Ooh.
Is that accurate?
Yes.
Okay. In that, what you did the exterior, you did the whole thing, soup to nuts, or
the exterior mainly.
Okay.
Because a lot of it is shared.
Right.
And that one, I'm pretty proud of it because we had to keep the Accord windshield and door, and so you're kind of
the Accord coupe. You had to keep the coupe.
I mean, it was both. It was a 4-door. Yeah. So it was like literally. Oh right. You had to massage around that and keep the hard points and stuff, which everybody does, but I think that the rear, with the brake in the back and stamping that was impossible at East Liberty plant, and everybody freaked out. But I will say the other night I saw a car chase, and it was a CL, and I was like, and I swear to God, it had polished wheels and a white one, and it looked really nice. I was like, wow, that guy, even though he's running from the law, he kept his car pretty nice.
That's one of the most LA sentiments I've ever heard.
It was totally like, you guys know me, so I may be at a bar occasionally. Yeah, and I was at the bar, and they had the car chase, and they go, "What kind of car?" Every time, "What kind of car is that, Dave?" Because they know I'll know. It's like,
I do that.
It's my car. It's my car.
Yeah, hey, I did that car. Like, what are you talking about? Like,
so what was the mood like? Because you probably started this. It's a '97. So you were at 92. Started planning 93.
On doing this car.
Yeah.
I think that one was in the works for a while because it was going to be built in U.S.
Right.
So it was kind of like a big thing to start working on it sooner so we could figure out what to do.
Johnny and I were in high school during the time you started drawing this thing.
92? Yeah, I was starting my senior year.
But this is the era of Big Japan, right? This is when Sony, I think, bought all of LA, right?
The Japanese bought Pebble Beach. They're taking over.
Right. Yeah. So and of course Honda, Toyota, Nissan, everybody's on the rise. Yeah. Right.
And the luxury brands, Acura, Lexus, and
and that was it. It was kind of like
killing Detroit.
Yeah. How do you? Acura always had the meandering road that started with precision craft. Then it meandered, but I think we always had it in our mind to do precision crafted performance. So
you were doing this, you were starting to draw this the year or two after the NSX?
Yeah.
So it must have been like an awesome place to be. Oh, it was great. You were like,
my first day, it was the Accord Wagon and NSX rear ends.
Really?
Here, draw these. I was like, what are we doing here, man? This is a GT40.
Those are good rear ends.
Well, and at the time, it was like a lot of split taillights and GT40 looking. And I was like, holy crap. Because I didn't know going in.
Sure.
What I liked about Honda was, I had instructors at ArtCenter, and they taught what the Honda process was. You do a concept and you work through the buyer, all that stuff. And that fascinated me to not just go draw cars, but do the whole business side.
Wait, do you have any part of your drawing, anything you drew on that 91, the NSX, the original NSX?
No.
Okay.
No. In fact, we did like Truman Pollard there's a bunch of guys that worked at Ed Watts. A lot of guys, we had done a bunch of rear ends, but it was done, and then they wind tunneled it and changed it. They changed that whole wing, the flat wing and the arrow part.
Yeah.
They changed that after all the sketches were done and everything. But it turned out amazing, and it's classic. But it was just the fact that I got to work on it was like, holy crap.
It is a classic rear. If you watch the movie, first of all, this is going to date the reference because it's our generation.
We already mentioned Jonathan Winters.
Well, if you watch Pulp Fiction, when Winston Wolfe does a burnout in the silver NSX, awesome. And you just see that rear on shot. Like,
it's so good.
It's so good.
So what? Okay, so you I want to actually back up to a little bit of ArtCenter just for a second, but like. We always ask people, like, how did you find out about ArtCenter? Like, did you always want to draw cars? Did you want to draw washing machines? Like, how did you
I always wanted to draw washing machines.
Same.
Ted Yonkin, you draw a cube and then put a lid on it. I swear to God, honest to God truth, I didn't think it was real. But I remember the Smithsonian article. It was my dad. My dad was adamant that I should do this.
So you had artistic talent, and you like cars.
Yeah. I mean, I was drawing cars all the time. I did everything.
Cars all the time, and I sucked. Yeah.
I mean, I drew all the time, everywhere on anything.
What were you drawing?
Everything, but cars mainly. But
like
anything.
What cars? Like sports cars.
Sports cars. I would draw
Jeeps, tanks.
Basically, I would draw people go, "Hey, draw my Volkswagen." Draw my, So I go, "Yeah, okay." But when I draw by myself, it was almost always race cars.
Okay.
Like.
That makes
99%.
Which?
All of them. F1 to dragsters to
NASCAR? Like
I would, but it was just I would do a lot of funny cars and a lot of F1 cars and a lot of Indy cars and just all the time. But I was drawing plan views and doing like crazy. A lot of times I was thinking, which is what I do now. I mean, shit, I'm almost 70 and I'm still drawing stuff to make a car model out of it. Like a scale model. So when I was little, I would do that.
How did you know to draw a plan view? That's
plan view's top down.
Top down, yeah. How did you?
I wanted to show the suspension. I'll tell you, one of the best sketches, drawings, magazine cover ever is Ed Newton's ice truck, and that sketch. And
ice truck.
It was probably 67 or somewhere around there. And Galpin has it now. They have the actual car. But I fell in love with that sketch. And I thought, I want to do that. But I didn't know that you could.
Right.
So I studied, and my mother wanted me to be a senator. Just go into politics and be
great.
And everybody said, I had to do a lot of politics. So I was like, but I think I always wanted to do academic stuff, be smarter than the guy in the room or whatever.
Sure.
And my dad was like, no, you need to do this thing that you love to do.
Right.
And so we took a trip down to ArtCenter. He said, let's just go down to Southern California and look at it.
Where were you from?
I grew up in Lake Tahoe, went to Sacramento.
Okay.
Both, we had houses in both.
But so your dad knew about ArtCenter somehow?
Oh, yeah. From coming down to LA for political events. And so I walk in the gallery like every ArtCenter student should. And I walk in and just go, I almost cried, it's like, oh my God,
right.
This is real. So I ran home and did a the whole portfolio to submit.
I read your bio, like you turned it around and got accepted in like 4 days.
It was like, I literally was calling them the next day. Like, wow. I'm sending this, am I in?
And you're a senior?
I think they let me in just to shut me up.
You already graduated from university, right? This is your second degree.
What was your first year?
I was just humanities and fine arts.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah, and it was literally probably 4 schools that I had gone to. But
so you had been, in other words, you're in college getting a degree when you're still drawing cars constantly, and you just never. It's so funny how no one ever puts 2 and 2 together.
Got married.
Wow.
Had a job. I was a printer.
Oh no!
I was a printer to put myself through school.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
And but
like what printing
like typeset.
I ran press, you know, like
my dad owned a quick copy.
no kidding.
So
Well,
I used to know how to set up the
mine
plates.
was big. It was the state printing plant.
Oh,
so
that's
it was
bigger. Yeah.
We did school books, and you know, it was a giant the honcho, and
that's
Miele's
crazy.
That must have helped out actually at
it was
ArtCenter, right? Like
I'll
you
tell
know how
you,
to do stuff with paper and models.
All of that. It also taught me, like I worked with a lot of, I always tell this story, and it's not prime, I mean, it's fine, but I'm walking in one time and I was working graveyard. So I loved working graveyard because I was going to school. And I walk in and there was a guy, Kelly, was running one of the platen presses, which is a small one, and you run it yourself. Mm-hmm. And he had a Folsom Prison shirt on with no sleeves. And I said, dude, I mean, I'm 17, you know, I go, dude, that's an awesome shirt. Where'd you get that? And he goes, where the F do you think I got it? And I was like, and so my dad told me later that my dad used to go, he worked there too. So that's how I got the job. In nepotism at its best. Yeah. But it was the state, you know, so he would go to all the state prisons and help them learn the trade. Hmm. So I think I
remember my dad. We always had one guy would run the printing press, and they were usually ex-cons.
Yeah, well, I think it got me to understand life, maybe because I think instead of getting to ArtCenter with, you know, like wide-eyed, I was like, dude, I've been through a bunch of stuff with these guys,
right?
So it helped a lot. But I always thought that understanding of ArtCenter was, I'll tell you that the printing plant, I don't think I think it moved, but it was on Richards Boulevard it was by the SP yard, the big giant in Sacramento. It was like the giant, it's probably the biggest railroad yard.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And so I would see old trains.
Southern Pacific.
And I loved those. So it was like perfect. But I think every one of those guys was 100% behind me doing this. Yeah. Like I'm moving, I'm going to go do this, and they're all going. You're going to be good.
So that's cool.
That's great.
Yeah.
And then so Honda, you get to Honda, and besides drawing the rear end of cars that are in production, basically, what was your first like Honda that like you can say like Dave Marek designed that? Like what was your first? The
Accord Wagon, the 94 Accord Wagon. 94
Accord Wagon.
Yeah. 90 I worked on with Doug Halbert, and we did. You know, it was already an Accord. And so we stuck a wagon on it. But the 94 was a negotiation with like Japan doing the 4-door and doing the 2-door at the same time. So we were doing all of them. And a lot of they you know, compromised some areas, like the rear door is a little taller than they wanted the sedan to be, because we needed to make a wagon out of it. And
interesting.
So stuff like that.
Could you pull up a 94 Accord Wagon?
I got it. I got a picture.
You got it? Well, no, but just put it on the screen so we can.
I think I'm making Brent work.
Yeah,
you know, I can tell you.
It's a video podcast.
You bring up the one that I really like. I was at SEMA this year.
What is it? 1994 Honda Accord Wagon. And then type in side. You don't want to see the side view.
Where's that images?
That'd be it.
There you go. Yeah, that's what I'm looking at right now.
Yeah, very sporty.
I had a 91 Accord, so they were great. I had the Accord manual, the base model with only the one mirror.
It's the perfect car.
Yeah, it was so much fun to drive.
Do 2025 SEMA
That's not a 94.
Accord Wagon speaker car. I don't know if it'll come up, but it might. That was so proud.
Speaker car.
Yeah, just that's all I could describe it as.
This one? The one with all the speakers in the doors?
Yeah, it's...
No, that's giving... there's a specific condition that people have that when they see like lots of circles, my sister has it, and they will... Trypanophobia.
I think
yes.
So tryptophobia, but yeah.
Or it's an octopus. It's like...
there is a phobia. It's like lots of little holes.
Oh, yeah, but it was an Accord Wagon. It was like, holy crap, that's amazing.
Dang.
Yeah, I was so proud.
I mean, that's so 90s. Look at
that. Anyway, that was... I still see them on the road and think, wow, that...
They were great.
It's pretty elegant for an Accord. If you put, like I had one, So I put Giugiaro wheels on it.
Nice.
So I was +1 and lowered it a little, and it looked cool. It was nice.
You also are credited with the original Honda. Found it. Element.
I didn't. And
Ridgeline.
Or was it the head of? I was the head
of the studio.
So the Ridgeline was Don Herner and Jared Hall.
Okay.
Did the sketches. The Element story is awesome because the Element was. I was probably the guy that hammered executives in Japan a lot on that car. Maybe.
To do it?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, and why? What was the inspiration?
But real quick, before you tell it, like, why was there no second gen? That was such a great vehicle, and also like with electrification, that could once again be such a great vehicle.
It was ahead of its time. But let's talk about it.
It was ahead of its time. It was also CRV era. I'm not saying we did the right thing or not, but you know, if you have plants that are pumping out cars that are selling great,
right? Why muck them up with something?
And it's such an icon to us, but.
CRV was
selling like crazy.
Yeah, the Element was the icon.
That's what I'm saying. The Element was an icon, but CRVs were selling.
It's just so practical. I remember a friend of mine. We would load engines into the back of an Element, like VW engines. It was like, this is the ideal engine. This is a shop car.
It was perfect for a shop car or a florist, or you could do anything with it.
Such a cool car.
Also, it was a Nizza, I think that. So the side impact, side in and narrow offset. I think a lot of that came into it too.
So let's push pause real fast because we have some people like, what are you guys talking about? Yeah. So in 2003, Honda dropped this box van. Okay, it was front drive, also all-wheel drive as a 2.4 liter, I think, or 2 liter, 2.4 liter. I don't know. Came in manual and automatic. It had what do you call them? Rear opening.
It was wide side doors. We called suicide doors. But
suicide doors.
One suicide door.
Right,
but you can't say that.
So you open.
They didn't want us to.
Yes,
homicide doors.
Rear facing door with no B pillar, so getting in and out was
great. The B pillar was in the door.
Yeah. It's a 5-passenger, right? 5 seatbelts.
It was 4.
4 seatbelts.
Yeah. More importantly, you pull the seats out.
It was 4. Well, you can fold them up onto the side too.
Yeah, kind of like an old school Land Cruiser, and it had a lift pop out window.
Yeah.
Which I remember because Wes Allison, our longtime photographer, he shot for us. He shot for all the Peterson publications for a long time. He would only buy that car or the Astrovan,
right?
Because you can shoot. No, out of it from the back.
No kidding.
And
because it was set back to the back.
And pull the hatch down when the cops come.
Well, that whole thing was that you could stand in it while you were a surfer and change your clothes.
Yeah, it was so cool.
Spray out interior. So in my mind, this was like the FJ Cruiser for Honda. This was like their
Defender,
future lifestyle all-wheel drive vehicle.
It was perfect.
More practical, also square in the era that Toyota had Scion was coming out, Nissan brought the Cube. Kind of a couple years later.
We should show those because we were first, and then they.
Exactly.
You should show an Element.
It was kind of a little military ambulance, is what I used to call it. But I'll tell you that Bernard Lee, he's at Tesla, but he did that. We did, Honda. We would do offsite. We called them Waigayas, but it was like a 3-day brainstorming. We went to the X Games in San Diego, and we broke into 4 groups with sales, engineering, it's just SED. So design people, and so each group had a designer, and Bernie. So I was chief designer then. So we did. I was like circling through the groups watching. Anyway, Bernie did a napkin like that, and it's the Element. I mean, literally, it is the Element.
Do you still have that?
Yeah, I did. Eric Shoemaker was the project leader.
Yeah,
and he did a presentation where it starts with Bernie's sketch and it ends with the actual Element, and shows every iteration we made, clay models and everything. It never changed. Wow. It changed once because one of the executives in Japan, Hiromatsu maybe, he said that we claimed that it would hold a 10.5-foot board, and it was a little short. She kept trying to shove it up into the windshield and get it like this, and so we extended the back maybe about 100 mil just so it would fit it.
Just get the board in there.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, but that's you claim to do it, so do it.
Yeah, but that was just like when there wasn't a second gen, I was like,
yeah, I think
that's a shame.
You know, there's a lot.
Had you drawn a second gen?
There's probably 30 second gens that floated around and never made it. We did. I remember one of my favorite ArtCenter projects was, because I would always say, hey, let's do an ArtCenter project. We did. We had money left over from a budget, but not a lot. It wasn't enough for a project up there. So I talked to, I think at the time, well, I guess it was probably Stuart just coming in maybe. And I said, what if can we do a project with like half, like 40 grand or something like that? And we came up with one of the design, and Norm did it, but it was one of the, Norm Sherman, who passed away. Mm. But his class, it was like a sketching class. So we said, do accessories for the Element. It was like, they were amazing. I think a lot of that stuff ended up kind of like what the base station has. You know,
yeah.
But I think that car, every time somebody comes up with, hey, let's make this, it's either the CRX or the Element.
Right.
Every time.
Right. Because those are beloved Hondas
and that's
that are out of production.
Yeah. I mean, that's it.
Right. That makes sense.
Okay. So were you were head of Honda design at the time that came out, and also when Ridgeline was being done?
Yeah.
Okay, so another example of Honda being ahead of the curve. This is, I mean, you guys were the first compact, like unibody pickup truck.
Yep.
Right? Like this was, when was Avalanche? That was full size.
The Avalanche was a Suburban.
But it was also a ladder frame, I think.
Yeah. No, it was a truck.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But it was after.
You're thinking of like the Maverick.
So you're going to bring up, you're going to make the sail panel. That was, we were first.
Yeah. So you got,
the Cybertruck.
Yeah. So let's talk about it, because the Ridgeline I think is important now, because you did do a second generation of that. It's been kind of all the real truck guys look sideways at it, but it's done well enough. And the people who love the Ridgeline really do love the Ridgeline. Yeah. They buy them all the time. They get pretty good fuel economy. They're good. They're great as a truck. And now, to his point, he just mentioned Maverick's out there. It's our truck of the year. Right. You got these guys, Tello bringing out a small truck.
Hyundai
you got
Santa
Slate.
Cruz.
You got the Hyundai Santa Cruz. But Honda is really good.
You think everybody should just thank us for
sort of
figuring it out and then copy us?
Yes, because actually, I think the knock on the Ridgeline when it came out,
professionally, and I've been doing this over 20 years now, this guy is the biggest Ridgeline fan I've ever encountered in the industry.
That's not true.
No, it is.
I like the Ridgeline.
I've never heard anyone.
I like white space vehicles.
Yeah.
I also know that when it came out, one of the knocks on it, because it sags when you tow stuff, right? The wheels kind of flare out. But also, it was considered a little pricey, and now all the trucks are astronomical.
Right.
Well, that's fair.
Crazy.
That's fair.
I know the second gen, we dropped like a refrigerator in Ohio on like 4 different trucks, including ours, like from 30 feet up. And the Ridgeline, it just kind of bounced a little bit. The other one's toast. Huh. So I will say that. I won't say who, but it was like, oh, dude.
What year did you
use? Like in 18, maybe.
Okay.
18 or...
Okay. You dropped refrigerator to show how tough they were?
Yeah.
Or just for fun?
To show how the Ridgeline would
for a commercial
hold up.
or internal?
No. Internal stuff.
Like into the bed?
Yeah.
Oh, this is like the... You remember when when F-150 came out with the aluminum bed, and Chevy was showing ads with the toolbox?
Yeah, it was just like that.
Steel toolbox penetrating.
Yeah,
I was like, this is why I love the truck industry.
Yeah,
because the truck guys,
it's ruthless.
It's ruthless. They just beat up on.
Which is why probably subconsciously we went. Look, it's white space. It's our neck of the woods. Let's just make. We'll do the contractor's truck, and you can get the workers' trucks. Go ahead.
Right.
We'll do the cool truck that you can go home and take your kids in. Right. I mean, the original Ridgeline, the fit. It's a fit. It's like a large fit, because the fit, you fold that seat up in the back, the magic seat, and you're like, Jesus, we are so good at that stuff. Like
the magic seat. I still remember that when that first fit showed up, like 2006, 7.
Well, in the Odyssey with the J Odyssey,
but the fit, which was the Jazz, but when that came, I remember it was probably 2005, and I remember I had a press car, and I had a bicycle, and I remember like I
putting
folded the seat up, and a bicycle fit into this miniature car.
I remember we had when we first had the fit, we had dogs running through it. You know, they were running just through the car. Like, oh, that was cool.
Yeah.
I think that the beauty of the Ridgeline was that when we did the press, so I'm on the board of directors for Lions Museum, the foundation, and Tom Elliott is on it. And Tom's longtime Honda. He was head of product planning. He was never sales. People think he was sales, but he influenced sales, but he was like product side. But he did all the speaking at all the Detroit auto shows. Right. And what made me laugh was that we were talking about it the other day, and at that press conference, it was when GM had moved to the back, and we took that space, and Ford had built that big long, like that whole front wall of stuff. And they had an upper deck, so they had stairs that went up. And so Tom came out, and he said, good afternoon, everybody. I'd like to thank Ford for providing bleachers. And the next year they were gone. I was like, but we had tried to talk him into getting in the bed, in the trunk, and getting out of it when he pulled up, pulls out and then he gets it. Yeah. He didn't want to, but I thought, how cool would that be? I understand
why you wouldn't want to. Yeah, you can hire a kid to jump out. Yeah.
Yeah. I remember I was at that press conference and a bunch of the Chrysler guys had come up to stand by me, and they were looking at it and saying, wow, that's so you guys, it's like front wheel drive. It's like all wheel drive. And they said, that's a lot of like space under there. And I went, he goes, what do you do with that? I go, I don't know, gas tank, whatever. And because, they were, they kind of speculated it ahead of time. You're thinking, no, we're putting a giant trunk under there. And rightly so. But I remember they went, wow, what else? What's it going to do? And Osimo came out on stage, and I went, hey, we have a robot and a jet. And then I walked off. That was my comment was, hey, we have a robot and a jet.
So Dave's talking about one of the things that I think when the Ridgeline came out that competitors savaged it for was the underbed storage, because you had a giant space.
It was big.
That actually, and it had I think you guys all put a drain plug in it, right? You were way ahead on this, because now everybody does it.
Well, now they're doing the frunk. Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
But everyone's like, well, that's stupid, because if you put something on top,
can't get it out.
But it's like,
we can also unload the truck.
Well, also, all of those truck guys who were slinging mud at you, they know that most of their shoppers are air haulers. They're not putting anything in the back. Yeah. And if they are, what do they do next? They go buy a tonneau cover.
Yeah. But it's also
it's locked though.
Yes, and this was a locking.
So it locked.
This is a lockable.
So it's a trunk. It literally is a trunk.
Right. Yeah. But look, everyone, I think, in the world except for truck buyers knows this. Like, it's kabuki theater, the truck biz. Like,
sure.
Oh, it is.
Showing
it's crazy.
Money contractors.
I can do 1,000 ways to use your tailgate. I remember my dad had a Chrysler wagon for a while.
Yeah.
Because he always liked wagons because they were sporty or whatever.
Same with my
dad. In Tahoe, you need, you need toughness. But I remember that one, if you got it just in the right place, like the GM ones, but if you opened it this way and that way, you could drop the tailgate off. And I kept telling all the engineers in Ohio, just be careful of this. And we don't want people like making it fall off, because you could get it right in the sweet spot and it would come off.
Installment point.
Yeah. That's hilarious. Yeah.
So the Ridgeline's interesting though. So what was that? I always, like, when Daimler bought Chrysler, right? In my mind, what it was like, man, look at this, this mature U.S. market. They sell all these pickup trucks, print cash.
Yeah.
Like, was that what it was? It's like, we really got to get on these pickups.
Well, I think, business-wise, if you're selling, you have to have a pilot.
Yeah.
We did the MDX was originally like Honda. And when we showed it, we showed the clay model in Japan, and we were working on it as a Honda. And Mr. Amamiya, who is still probably the smartest guy ever at Honda, he said, no, we should make it an Acura. And we did.
Why? Why did he say that?
For business and sales, and then we used that platform to do the pilot. And the Pilot, you could sell a ton of those because it's a Honda and it's cheaper. And but I think he felt Acura needed the bandwidth, the lineup to have more vehicles.
So when you say it was designed as an MDX, it was designed as a Honda first. Well, it had that shape. It was much sharper.
It was probably squarer as a Honda.
Okay.
And taller. But it's still sort of, it was on the same platform. So the platform is everything. You start with that.
Right.
And so it was kind of like, let's do the Acura Qs, the center brake and make it a little chop top-ish.
Okay. All right. Speaking of the platforms and everything and conscious of time, I want to bring it forward to sort of this era. You might not be able to talk about this. Well, I don't know how your NDAs work, but Honda Prologue and Acura ZDX, which were, I think the best way to put it, co-developed with General Motors, right?
During COVID.
First of all, let me just say, I think both of them are so good looking. The Prologue looks awesome.
Yeah,
it looks like.
And by the way, this is maybe only
and
an
the
LA
ZDX
thing.
also looks really good.
ZDX is great, but the Prologue is taken over Los Angeles. It looks sort of everywhere.
Crazy good deals, I think.
It looks like a 9/8 car almost. Like it's because
Mm-hmm.
we finally get to do like 24-inch wheels, and then the whole car got bigger. I was like, damn it.
I'm sure Rivian they're like pissed off when that thing came out. Like, oh man, because it looks a lot like the R2.
No,
the R3.
I don't think Rivian was pissed off. Yeah,
but anyways,
it's weird when that car comes up, especially the ZDX, because they were both going on. But that I was going during COVID to the studio every day, so it was like 2 of us and then 3 clay modelers, like every day. We never didn't work.
Right.
It was weird. Yeah. It was quicker to get to work.
Did it feel like illicit?
It felt liberating, I think, is the word, because we were doing the ARX at the same time, and I think it was, and I was never a boss. I was always a enabler, I guess, or I'm here for you guys. So I think we were the camaraderie of us and the working together, without any interruption was the best part. It's a happy accident, for how bad COVID was. But I think that I remember having meetings with GM a lot, and GM, their intellectual property, they were really worried about it.
What were they worried about?
Just that we would make the same car or look the same, or.
Let me ask you this: before you actually really got into the nuts and bolts of the GM, used to be called Ultium, now it's called whatever, but the GM EVs. Were you nervous that they were going to be bad? Because I'm an unabashed. I think GM's EV strategy is every car's good. They make good cars across the board.
I wasn't worried about the platform itself. Truth be told, and everybody know, I've said it forever, is the packaging I was worried about. Because Honda is so good, unique at packaging.
Excellent, yeah. I mean, yeah.
So you were worried you would not have. It would be big on the outside, small on the inside situation?
Or it looks cool. That's what you say. Yeah, there's a reason it looks cool, I guess. But yeah, I was worried about that. Yeah.
Okay.
So you weren't worried about we're going to get GM tech?
No. I think it was fascinating for me because of the uniqueness of each company and the way they work. I was, you kind of step back and dive into the inner workings and think, wow. And, a lot of engineering people at Honda, they were like, wow, we need more of that. And others were like, whoa. And I'm sure GM was saying, wow, we need more of that.
Was this I'm just trying to think, and nothing's coming to mind because of the whiskey, but was this the first non-Honda vehicle collab you ever did?
No, we did the Isuzus.
Remember?
We did,
the ILX.
No.
The
SVX.
SVX. Sorry.
Not SVX.
The Isuzu Trooper 2
SLX.
SLX became an Acura.
Yeah,
but that was GM. I mean, there was
it was Isuzu, but okay. it was We did the two. We did an Acura and a Honda.
Right.
The Honda was the
Passport.
It was the Passport.
It was the OG Passport.
Did you have anything to do with Sterling? Speaking of Honda collabs.
Yeah, actually.
Oh yeah.
John Nagamini. Yeah. So Sterling, my boss,
Just to go for a very deep cut.
My boss at HRA in Torrance, for the longest time, the guy that I learned everything from, Tony Ikeda, he was the first 3 to come to America in '75 and study the market or whatever, and he was designer. And he said, I mean, the things I remember were that they were so afraid to eat anywhere. They had McDonald's for every 3 meals a day for like 3 years.
Well, yeah, wait, they were afraid to eat where?
Anywhere but
in
McDonald's.
The US?
Yeah.
Why?
Because they were Japanese. They're like, we don't know. It's like we just ate McDonald's because it was like McDonald's. But he left and came back.
Yeah.
And then he went to Sterling for a while and worked on that too. Huh. So his English is perfect. So
yeah,
he taught me everything. But so the Sterling was the legend, And so I had just started when all that was going on.
827, right?
Yeah,
it was a Sterling 8. Where did 827 come from?
Probably their address.
Yeah. Deep cut. And then there was a second Sterling. There was like a hatchback.
Yeah. But the big one was the one.
Yeah.
Tony was super famous for we were like early and we're at work and somebody goes, man, thank God it's Friday, and he goes, Friday like any other day. And I'll never forget it as long as I live. I was like, and every time somebody goes, thank God it's Friday, I go, Friday like any other day. Like, what?
That's very
Japanese.
It
was so cool.
That's so Japanese.
I mean, it was, but it was also like,
yeah.
I think he was bringing some home life to work. But
right.
Yeah, anyway.
Right.
But,
right.
But I think that those 2 cars, I think we needed to do that to get some form language for electrification and
as Ed said, I think the Prologue
learn from them. I mean, GM had done it. You're like, we don't.
Were the hard points shared between the GM vehicles? So do you guys have all different windshields and door approaches?
So it's kind of a hodgepodge, but yes. But there's 2 platforms.
Okay.
So the longer wheelbase is the Lyric.
Lyric plus, is it Lyric and ZDX?
Yeah.
And then
but not completely.
Prologue and
then Prologue and the
Blazer or
Blazer.
Prologue and Blazer.
But not Equinox EV. I thought it was smaller.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then there was a Cadillac Optic. Would be the smaller.
No, it's the Blazer. It's the bigger.
I thought it was
it's the I don't either. I know Lyric and
it's the 85-hour.
But there's parts of the hard points that are the other platform.
And then inside, it feels much more GM. From the switches,
yeah, I mean, there's a lot of
part sharing,
carryover and sharing, but you have to
because they were building them in their factories. Yeah.
So I know one thing we went through a lot, and they were great. GM was awesome because we did colors. So the colors, we were developing all these Acura colors, and so we had to use their supplier. So.
Interesting.
We were able to negotiate with them.
And they come in some good colors like that. That cool. Turquoisey bluey.
Yeah, that's the main one.
Yeah.
That was the double apex blue, and we wanted to match that.
So kind of a bummer that I guess they were discontinued, but
I mean everybody's moving to the it's a Band-Aid till you get what you really want, I guess. I think the shared technology was good.
Yeah, I was just thinking out loud, like, moving so fluidly like you've done between Honda and Acura, it probably wasn't like shocking to like, here's another thing, just skin it, not just skin it, but you know what I mean, like.
I think I guess in my personality, Eric Berkman, who became the executive VP of Acura, and he and I grew up at Honda together. We worked on the first wagon together. And he said, I want to make you global creative director. And I'm like, no, I'm a Honda guy. I felt like I was going to be, I'm not going to have influence over what they're doing. And he goes, just trust me. And then he said, no, you're not going to, nobody reports to you. And then I thought, well, how do I get people to do what I want them to do if I don't do their performance review or control, whatever? And he goes, just trust me. And I was maybe like a month in going, this is the coolest thing ever. I don't care what you do. I'm picking that one and we're making that. And I think that freed me up to make Acura more aggressive, I guess, or more interesting, and not worry about everything else that was going, with Honda or anything like that.
And was that a new position, the global creative director? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And was that weird for Honda to have a non-Japanese?
I assume so.
Okay.
Although it was me, so.
And you've been there for close to 40 years.
I mean, it wasn't. I remember when they made me division director, I was for styling anyway, and Kagoshi was the division director, and they said every 3 years or 4 years there's a change, and they go through it, and it's like. I just remember talking to him, and everybody wants to know, who's replacing you, because you want to know. It's like, oh God, that guy, or oh, that guy's cool, and he goes, you are, and I go, what are you talking about? He goes, no, you are.
Wow.
And so I think at that point there was some trust. So.
Right. Well, you'd also been. Honda came to America in 1959, and you had joined them in 88 or something.
I mean, I was 87.
87.
And it was.
So more than half.
75 was the inkling of the design studio.
Right.
So it was probably 82. So it'd only been 5 years, even less than that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you have anything to do with the HondaJet?
Yeah, just yes.
I've flown on it. Very nice jet.
Yeah. It's funny. We have a lot to do with it. I say we. I'm retired, but yeah, there's a lot of influence from the design studio on stuff that goes on.
The shape, the style.
FAA is completely that.
Okay.
They're also interior more than anything, but
logo. Cool logo.
The graphics and things like that. And,
okay.
But I remember the first. The nacelle, the engine cover, was being milled in our fab
that's cool.
88 or 89, and I thought it was like a Bonneville car or something. What are you guys making? Sure, it's like a belly tanker or something, but it was like the first to wind tunnel and try stuff. So I think the jet is, the long game is there's a lot of cachet to it, but there's also a lot of profit if you do it,
Right.
Yeah.
So that's great. You throw up the segues like crazy.
Well, to say at $5 million, kind of a bargain as far as jets go.
And great fuel economy for a jet.
Yeah, I mean, hey, it was,
of course.
I flew from Van Nuys to Monterey.
Oh, you did?
It was like 35 minutes. Fantastic.
Yeah, thing's awesome.
Yeah, it was great.
I mean, you say Honda's always playing the long game. They were first. People don't realize this, right? They were before Lexus and Infiniti. They were.
Oh yeah,
Acura was 86, right?
Yeah,
yep. With the legend, one of the greatest names for a car. Period.
Legendary.
Right? Legendary name.
Yeah, and Integra.
Integra, yeah, great names, great vehicles.
My family bought an '86 Integra.
Yeah. We had that Legend coupe manual.
Oh yeah, nice.
I was always impressed that Strother McMinn, the ArtCenter, like. The street's named after him,
Yeah.
One of his favorite cars was that Legend, the coupe.
Yeah.
And he told me one time, he says, I saw a CL. Did you have anything to do with that? And I go, yeah. He goes, it reminds me of that's what you guys need to get back to. And I was like, from you, I'm good. This is cool.
So can you give us any perspective? This is one of my last questions. Like, Honda is ahead on a lot of these things. Like they saw Ridgeline, they saw some of these fun box vehicles like the Element,
the robot Asimo,
right? All this stuff. But I know, I always interpret it as because I read the quote and I know the history, right? Honda wasn't supposed to be a car company, right? Like the Ministry of Trade, the government said, Toyota, this carrots, these Keiretsu, these guys are gonna build the cars. The bicycle, motorcycle, cool.
Keep doing your little thing.
Right. So there's always kind of this little guy, maybe
rebel.
Chip on the shoulder kind of thing.
And there was a Mr. Honda, but
right. Who also, by the way, legendary, because I was in Japan and I saw the 60s era, the F1 cars, these stories that Honda can tell.
It's amazing.
Right?
It's amazing.
Where are they going to go? Where do they go from here?
Well, right? I hope that, so I did quite a few Honda Way discussions with different groups, and I'd go and legal group or things like that and say, look, this is the Honda philosophy, and this is what you live up to, and I always felt like I needed to embody that spirit no matter what. And I'd like to think that I did. But I always think that the fact that the current staff they don't know that as much, and things have gotten so it's not complicated, but it is. You kept adding to just drawing a car. There's a lot that goes into it, and there's not enough time to teach the philosophy like there used to, and the camaraderie of that. I tell a few stories, but I always, when we used to do a thing called HLS, and my HLS class was Honda leadership. It's you identify high performers and say, okay, we're gonna send you to Eagle Rock in Colorado, and you learn to be a leader, basically. And you always come up with different scenarios. Ours was that Toyota, which there is a Mr. Toyota too, but with a D.
Yeah.
He had gone to prep school and then on to university. Right. And Mr. Honda dropped out of high school to build a motorcycle.
Right.
That's kind of our mentality.
Right.
And I always thought that's not a bad thing. You could go back to school, but the I just want to make something thing is just huge in all of us. The other one is I tell this story from, I think it was Mr. Shimajima or somebody, one of the executives said he was an engine engineer, and they were at the test track in Tochigi, and they're driving a Legend. It was the first Legend, because he didn't like the Legend. Mr. Honda didn't. He didn't, because the fender used to go into the door, and he kicked it. He said it looked like it got dented, so he kicked it where it was dented. And if you look, they pushed the fender up in front of the door. It used to go into the door, and so they're driving it, and somebody was driving, and Mr. Honda goes, "What's that noise?" And he said, "Yes, we're trying to figure out what that is." It was like a rod knocking or it was something. And he goes, "Fix it." He goes, "Yeah, we're gonna do it." He goes, "Fix it."
Yeah.
And he goes, "Oh,
like now."
Oh,
yeah.
So the moral to the story is Honda. He pulls over, he gets out, he opens the hood, and goes, "What the hell am I gonna do?" He took his shirt off under the white coat, and he shoved it down in there and sound deadened it, and shut the hood, and you couldn't hear it. And they drove, and he goes, "Oh, much better." And that was the quick thinking of him to go, "Oh shit, what do I do?"
Right.
And I thought that's so clever, but it's kick out the ladder, all that stuff.
Is Honda still an engineering company fundamentally?
I think so, because Mibe-san is engine guy, and I think it is. I think what you have to do is make people work the line and do all that, the former stuff that sounds corny, but you have to do it.
I mean, my favorite, like one of my favorite car stories was with the original Civic. So the story goes, they said, yeah, you know what? We'll save money. Instead of independent rear suspension, let's get rid of that. We'll put a beam axle in. They had a board meeting. And then there was one engineer who refused to stand up. He wouldn't end the meeting. And like Mr. Honda looks at him like, "Why aren't you standing up?" And he says, "I don't want to disagree with you, but for the customer, having independent rear suspension would lower the floor, so the car will be more useful and it'll be a better car for them." And then Mr. Honda said, "Fine, put the independent suspension back in." And that's why the original Civic, which in the States was a preposterously small car, had four-wheel independent suspension. I remember my father bought one. He bought
I think the fight to keep independent suspension forever it's still going on.
Yeah, of course it is.
It'll never go away. Yeah. And I think that's because...
But again, like an engineer understood that.
Well, and I think car enthusiasts. I mean, that's a lot of it too. That's why
But if it had been a sales guy as CEO, they would have said,
of course.
But the money will make
that's
more money.
That's why the Type S Integra has a 6-speed. It's just like, just do it.
Right.
It'll go away.
Do the right thing. Yeah.
But I it's just I think I hope that if anything that people carry the legacy on and just keep saying, look, let's just make it cool. It's like it's easy. It's not that hard.
Okay.
Right.
I have a really quick story.
Yeah, please.
It's not car related. It's my girlfriend's sister. And I'm not going to swear on the air, but I'll paraphrase. And they're caterers, and they were doing the Oscars, and one of the guys' jobs was to light sterno under all the chafers to heat the food 15 minutes before it starts. They're like 5 minutes. I mean, this is like the Oscar like party.
Sure.
So like 5 minutes, the sternos aren't lit, and the head of the catering comes in, Mary. She goes, "Why aren't these lit?" And the guy goes, "I'll light them now. Don't worry about it." And he goes, "It's not rocket science." And this is the first time I ever heard it's not rocket science used properly, because my girlfriend's sister said, "It's not rocket science, and you can't even effing do this." And I thought, that sums everything up.
Right.
That you can't even do this. So I think that, if people can approach car design like it's supposed to be fun.
Yeah.
I mean, it is. There's a lot of that work that goes into it, but it's like, dude, you're drawing cars for a living. Come on, enjoy it and embrace it, and get joy out of it, I guess.
So what are you doing?
Dave Marek Design.
I got two more questions. Yeah, what's the future for Dave Marek?
Well, I want to go to every race that ever happened. So
nice.
I'm doing a lot of liveries for a lot of cars, IndyCar and NHRA race stuff, and
cool.
And it's kind of segued into doing marketing and things like that. And I learned so much from the HRC guys, and I'm kind of adapting some of that stuff to it. Let's see, I could go on forever, Ed. So that's all that stuff is I'm doing that. I'm on a couple of board of directors and ArtCenter Full Circle Board, things like that.
You're not still teaching, right?
I'm teaching whenever they need, but I'm full-time Full Circle Board, so that's kind of mentorship and things like that. But I'm also like, a buddy of mine was remodeling my bathroom, and he goes, "What are all those things in your garage?" I go, "Those are 3D printers. I've got like 7 of them." And he goes, "What are you making with them?" I go, "I make all kinds of stuff." He goes, "Like for instance," and I was showing, so I have a lot of tikis in my house. I've got a totem pole and tikis, and
I've heard stories about this.
I've got Northwestern art everywhere, and Mass, and every wall is painted a different color. It's crazy. It's a Spanish house. So I made switch plates. I designed an alias, switch plates, tiki switch plates. And then I 3D printed them, and so they're on my wall. And I go, he's a contractor. I go, you could make these for, like, he does Frank Lloyd Wright houses. I said, you could do bespoke, like, switch plates. And he goes, who are you? That was literally the thing. But so in between there is all kinds of stuff that I'm doing. So, yeah.
Wow.
Oh, you have an Etsy store for these tiki?
I don't, and I should. I mean, the thing is, I would give the data. I don't care. I don't need to make money on it.
Are you a big tiki enthusiast?
Oh yeah.
Tiki teas? You have tiki teas a lot?
Yeah, I go to. I go to Tiki No. I go to. Do you know?
I've been to
Broken Compass.
No.
It's Burbank. It's on Burbank Boulevard.
Yes.
It's pretty cool. It's kind of the boat and things.
Yeah.
But Dr. Funk.
Okay.
So I go to Niner games.
Oh, okay.
And I stay in San Jose. And San Pedro Street is Dr. Funk.
Okay.
And it's awesome tiki bar. It's like, this place is
funny. We have a big tiki enthusiast on staff. Brian used to do a bit tiki crawl.
Yeah, I did
the tiki crawl.
because I do Man Six Adventure. We're doing that. We're ramping that up a lot.
Which one?
Man Six Adventure, our podcast with Brad Fanshawe.
Oh, you're still doing that? Yeah. I was supposed to come on.
And one of them is I did the top 5 Mai Tais in Honolulu. And it was tiki bars all through Honolulu.
Nice.
Yeah, and because I know every bartender there, so it was cool.
Hilarious.
Wow.
Yeah. What are you driving?
MDX.
Okay.
And I'm just buying a car.
Okay.
It's non-Honda.
So you haven't? It's a non-Honda.
Non-Honda. Nice.
So you haven't? Have you been to Lions Museum?
The Air Museum down.
No, Lions, the drag racing museum.
No.
Rick's.
Yeah. Oh, over in it's at the Speedway.
Rancho Dominguez. It's right by where Lions was.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm on the board for that.
Ah, okay.
But so one of Rick's least favorite cars, which is funny because he's a big Willys guy, was a 32 Ford Chop 3 window.
Mm-hmm. Classic hot rod.
So I'm buying that.
Nice.
And are you gonna 3D print it up or?
No.
It's
done
or black.
No, it's orange.
Orange.
It's not even orange. It's mango.
Perfect.
The guys at the shop call it Julius. Orange Julius.
What's the motor?
It's a 327.
Okay.
I mean, it's classic. Yeah. It's reverse chrome hub, so it's not even. It's full fendered, which I'm debating if taking them off or not, but it's perfect chop. You know, it's got the suicide doors and
nice. That's cool.
Yeah, and it's just kind of like it's a plug and play.
This is your retirement special.
Kind of, yeah. Cool. It was just like, I've always said, and they're because when Rick passed away, they said, let's get rid of cars that are extraneous to the collection because it's mostly the Lions drag strip stuff. Right. And I said, don't even think about selling that. I'm gonna buy that.
Okay.
Nice.
Well,
sounds like the retirement's pretty good.
Yeah.
It's so far. It's 21 days. Is that what you said? Yeah. I guess my personality is too always moving forward, not thinking nostalgically so much, maybe. Yeah. And I think that helps a lot. That I just go, yeah, man. I still feel like I don't have enough time, but my personality is like I had a problem with key shot day before yesterday. And I spent 24 hours trying to solve the problem in my head. Just, maybe it's this, maybe it's this, maybe. And until you sit down and apply it, you don't know. Right. And I just was going crazy, and I fixed it. So, I mean, that's kind of the stuff that I have time to do now.
Right. Well, we wish you well.
Yeah.
Well, thanks, guys.
Retirement.
Yeah, sorry we didn't get you on while you're still working for Honda.
Thanks for the whiskey. This is probably better because I'll dish more.
Speak freely. And we'll have you back on after a few more dozen days or something.
Whiskey.
Yeah.
Like,
well,
I was gonna say by 2029 when all your cars finally come out.
Well, there you go. Yeah, I mean, I think it's the cadence of the cars is changing constantly, so you never know. But
yeah,
I mean, it's. I'll miss the people.
For sure.
But I was down there day before so
you're not that retired.
And I'm not going in the studio, but
yeah, I'm
pretty sure I could probably walk in and nobody would even think about it and then go, oh my God, what are you doing here?
Like, right.
But I don't need to. I don't. I'm fine.
Okay,
good.
I left a lot of gifts on my desk that I really didn't want to carry out. So I just left
them.
Like.
All right. Excellent.
Well,
cool.
Thanks.
Yeah, absolutely.
Dave Marek, legend. Thanks. Good to have you. Thank you.
It was awesome.
Thanks.